Hi, Amy.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Perfect.
Very good. Can you hear
Sorry,
me?
I'm a little late.
Can you hear me, Amy?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Are we live? Yep. Okay. It being 6:02, I would like to call the Joint Review Board meeting for Tax Incremental District Number 6 creation to order. Nicole, have you taken roll?
Yes.
Okay. Did everyone get a chance to review the minutes from our last organizational meeting? Does anyone have any changes or corrections to those minutes? If not, we would need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
This is Yvette. I will second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, then I will turn number 4 over to Harry from Ellers. He will review the public record, planning documents, plan commission resolution adopting the project plan, and the resolution passed by the common council approving the creation. He will then jump into number 5, consideration and possible action on resolution approving tax incremental district number 6 creation. Thank you, Harry.
Thanks, Judy. So again, I'm Harry Allen with Ellers. So tonight, the first TID before you is TID number 6 creation. It's the same TID we went over in March. So we reviewed the project plan in detail at that point. It then went to Plan Commission for the public hearing. Plan Commission adopted their resolution. Then it went to the Common Council, who then adopted their resolution. This is almost entirely the same plan you saw before. We just went through and removed one paragraph in the eligible project costs because we had a little bit of a discrepancy for the half-mile projects. There was a paragraph in there saying that you could at some point use TIF funding for the half-mile projects. There aren't any half-mile projects planned, so we removed that paragraph. Otherwise, the plan is exactly what we reviewed in March, and all the steps have been taken up to this point and brought us back to the Joint Review Board. And before you tonight is a resolution for the Joint Review Board to pass to then go ahead and establish TID 6. So if anybody has any questions on this plan or wants any refreshers on what we're doing with TID 6, I'm happy to go over that.
Amy, do you have any questions? Or Yvette? If not, we would need a motion to approve the resolution.
I can make a motion to approve the resolution.
Do I have a second?
Yep, I can second. This is Amy.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Then I will take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Yvette, I'll second.
Okay, it's been approved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. You're up.
Where'd Amy go? She left.
Oh, no.
Guess I'll go find that number after all.
I guess we had housekeeping for everyone, but
I'm just gonna email her.
Forgot to tell Amy she had to stay.
No. Hello again.
I'm sorry.
Thank you
Oh,
for
we're
coming
just
back.
happy you're here.
It's been one of those days. I'm really sorry.
You're fine. Am I ready, Nicole?
Yes, I should be right. Yep, you're good to go.
Okay. It being 6:11, I would like to call the Joint Review Board for Tax Incremental District Number 5 Amendment to order. Nicole, have you taken the roll?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Number 3 on the agenda, we would like to reaffirm, because we had the change in the district, we need to reaffirm the appointment of Christy Dorsey as the Joint Review Board's public member.
Make a motion to reaffirm.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Motion carried. Number 4 on the agenda then is to reaffirm myself as the chairperson of the Joint Review Board.
Make a motion to approve Judy Radke's chairperson.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, then I am going to turn it over to Harry again from Ellers, and he will go through the discussion of the Joint Review Board duties. I'm not sure how responsibilities. I'm not sure how much that you guys will need to hear again, because I think this would be number 4. And then he will go on the review and discussion of the project plan of the amendment. And then I will come back to me and Nicole to set a date. So.
Perfect. Thanks
Yeah.
again, Judy.
You're welcome.
So just a really quick recap on the responsibilities of the Joint Review Board. We have before you a draft of the project plan amendment for TID number 5. So your duty is to review this as a public record. And then ultimately, not at this meeting, but at the next meeting that we'll set at the end, to take action to create the TID and find that the but-for test is met in amending TID 5. So with that said, we can kind of move into what we're doing with TID 5. So I put together a quick slide deck to try and hit all the highlights within the plan. So if we can move to that second slide. I'm sure this is nothing new to you, but just as a reminder what TIF is. We're taking the property that we're adding to the TIF. We're keeping those AVs level throughout the life of the TIF. And any new improvements on those parcels will be captured to pay for project costs related to that new development. And then when the TID expires, all that new assessed value flows onto the tax rolls of all the overlapping units. So we can move on to the next slide. So this is TID 5. It's pretty small up there, but that orange area is the existing TID 5. And what we're doing tonight is looking at that blue portion on the north end of the map. We're looking at adding around 2.1 acres to TID 5. And this TID has a maximum life of 20 years and it's a mixed use TIF. So that just means that there's more than one use throughout the area. And at least 50% of it is suitable for mixed use development. And the specific project that we're trying to support with this amendment is a First State Bank building. They're looking at moving to this blue area, essentially all those parcels, to develop a 9,089 square foot new bank building. And we can get into the eligible project costs that we're having put into the plan to support that project. So we can move on to the next slide here. This is just kind of the site plan of what we're looking at with that new bank. You can see it's taken up most of that new area. There is, I think, one parcel, maybe 2 on the south end that we're adding just to make it a contiguous TIF. So this is all the development that we're looking at happening within TID 5. So that housing development on that first column, that's what the TID was originally created for. So that's a development, nothing new. Miscellaneous development in TID. This is just plugs of things that may happen in the future. It's the downtown area, so it's likely that there will be more investments and more projects happening throughout the 20-year life of the TID. And what we're really looking at here is that third column, the First State Bank. We're estimating that'll add around $2.5 million of incremental value after the existing structures are torn down and the new building is constructed. So in total, TID 5 will have around 7.8 million of incremental value. We can continue on to the next slide. These are the project costs from the original plan. They're almost identical. They've gone up slightly just due to some changes in utility costs, and we've adjusted the timing, but we are carrying forward all of the expenditure authority that was passed under the original plan within this plan amendment. We can continue on to the project costs that we are adding with this amendment. It's largely an incentive for First State Bank to develop on this new parcel. And we're also adding additional costs for administrative. This is largely the amendment of the TIF this year, and then moving forward, just annual costs relating to filings, audits, and all of that. So looking at the cash flow, we're estimating, I think it's 50% of the increment generated by First State Bank will be reimbursed through a municipal revenue obligation on an annual basis, going up to, I think we modeled the $550,000 total by the time that the TID closes. And we are estimating that this TID 5 will require every year of its eligible life to pay back the project cost. So it won't close early, but we are showing that it should close having paid off all of its obligations. And one other note that I want to make on this municipal revenue obligation for the bank, it is directly tied to the bank investing this money and developing the bank. They just get reimbursed through the tax increment. It's a pay-go structure. So the city is not putting any money into this deal. It's fully dependent on the development happening, the TIF being generated, and then the TIF being reimbursed. So this is our schedule of everything being approved. This is an amendment to a TID, so it can move a little bit quicker than the creation of a TID. So we are actually having most all of our meetings tonight on May 17th. So we're in the organizational joint review board. It's going to go to Plan Commission for the public hearing at 6:30. And then Common Council is going to review it tonight as well. So where that leaves us is the final joint review board meeting where the joint review board will take their action to create the TID. We just need to get that scheduled. We have proposed, I think it's June 7th at 2 p.m.
Correct.
So if that works for the group, we can get that locked down tonight. And if anybody has any questions as to what we're doing with TID 5, happy to answer them.
Does anyone have any questions on TID 5? The amendment, I should say. Or I got any part of it, TID 5? And I guess we will go ahead and schedule, and Nicole will send out an invite for, or we'll have a agenda sent out for that June 7th, right? It's June 7th at 2 o'clock. And if there's no other questions, then I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Just a question on the 2 o'clock. Could we move that back?
I'm open that day.
I think mornings weren't good.
Yeah, as
Right.
long as we don't do the morning, because that's when we have board of review.
Yeah, no,
But if you wanted to go 3
Later in
or
the day.
something like that, that would be fine.
Okay.
What works for you?
Maybe like 3:30 or so.
That works from my perspective.
How about you, Amy? Would 3:30 work on the 7th?
Sure, that would be fine.
Okay,
Okay, we will do that then.
all right. We'll set that date, June 7th at 3:30 then. And if there's no other questions on the amendment of to District Number 5, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move. Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Nicole?
All right, can I really leave now?
Thanks, Amy. Yes, you can leave now.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
All right.
I'd like to call the planning commission meeting to order. We stand for the pledge of allegiance.
United States.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any changes to the agenda? No changes. I'd like to open up a public hearing in regards to the proposed amendments to boundaries and projected plan for the tax increment district number 5. No, I didn't, because I didn't do that. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Donna Gabbert made the motion, Cindy, or Susie seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now, I guess we'll open up a public hearing in regard to proposed amendments to the boundaries and projected plan for the tax increment district number 5. Did I hear any comments? None, hearing none. For the second time, do I hear any comments on the amendment? Hearing none. Ask for the third time. Do I hear any comments on the amendment? Hearing none. I close the closed session. Okay, back into consideration and possible action on a resolution designating proposed amendment boundaries and approving a project plan amendment for tax increment district number 5 for the city of New London. Do you
Yep,
have
I can
some?
take it from here.
Okay.
So, good evening, everyone. I'm Harry Allen from Ellers. Good to see everybody again. Last time I saw you was in March, when we were talking about TID 6 at that point. So now we're going through an amendment to TID 5, which is the TID that was created last year to support some development downtown. I think that we can move through this how TIF works slide. I think we've covered that enough with this group. So what are we looking at tonight? It's this orange area on the south end of this map is the existing TID 5. And what we're looking at doing is adding these parcels in the blue on the north end within TID 5. So it makes up about 2.1 acres. And it's to take a new First State Bank building that's being developed on that site and bring it into TID 5. It's around a 9,000 square foot building. They're consolidating all their operations into these parcels. And so TID 5 itself is a mixed use district, has a maximum life of 20 years. And it does meet all the findings that you'd need to establish a mixed use district. And at this point, we're just adding in these couple parcels. We move on to the next slide. This is the site plan for the new bank. You can see it's making up the majority of the area that we're adding into the TID. The only other parcels that we're adding are to establish contiguity with the existing area and bring it into one district. So these are all of the projects we're aware of happening within TID 5. That first column we're looking at is a housing development that was the impetus for TID 5. So nothing has changed there. Those are the same numbers from the original plan. The second column is just some development that we don't know of anything at this point, but over the 20-year life of the TID, with it being your downtown area, we're assuming that in the future, there will be some nominal improvements and developments throughout time. The main reason that we have this before you tonight is for that First State Bank project. So you can see that's going to add around 2.5 million of incremental value to the TID. That accounts for the demolition of existing structures and then the construction of the new building. So in total, there will be about 7.8 million of incremental value within TID 5. This is looking at the project costs that were established within the original plan. We've updated the timing on these and updated the costs. There has been a slight increase to the utility relocation costs. Otherwise, what you see here is identical to what was in the original plan. We're just carrying forward that spending authority. And the next slide, these are the new projects that we're adding into TID 5. So we're adding a $550,000 incentive to First State Bank to support that new development. And then we're just adding in some administrative costs. Within that is annual audits and reporting requirements, as well as the cost for expanding the area. And here we are looking at the full picture of TID 5 with the new projects built in. And the new project here, it's a bunch of numbers up there, really tiny, but it's that municipal revenue obligation in the middle. We're paying back 550,000 of tax increment under a pay-go structure. So how this is going to work, the bank will come in, build their new facility. That will generate tax increment. That tax increment, 50% of what's generated will go to pay this municipal revenue obligation as a reimbursement to the bank. So if the project for whatever reason stalls, doesn't happen, the city has not taken out any money, the city does not owe any money. It is fully dependent on this project happening, and all the reimbursement comes from the project itself. And we are looking at the TID being able to pay back all of the obligations in full, but it's going to require the entire 20-year life of the TID. Now, this could change if you have more development within the downtown area. It could pay off significantly quicker. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. This is just the approval schedule for the TID. We're running through most of the meetings tonight. You can do an amendment much quicker than a creation. And we did set the final joint review board meeting. It's going to occur on June 7th. And at that point, the TID will be amended. So if anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Anybody got any questions? If has any questions, I look for approval of the TID District number 5.
I'll make that motion.
Motion been made. Got a second? A second. Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Guess that's about all. And I guess we look for adjournment.
I'll make that motion as well.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. We're adjourned. Thank you. My computer just ended up in the screen.
Special Board of Works meeting to order. Stand for pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First thing, review bid tabulations and recommend contract awarded for asphalt resurfacing on Avon, Lima, and Lion Street to Northwest Asphalt.
Mike?
The agenda.
Did you adopt the agenda first?
All right. Call for motion to adopt the agenda.
So move. Second.
Motion by Herder, second by Richie. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried.
And now we'll jump in and talk about the review of the bid tab. So in your packet, the bid tab for the asphalt replacement for Avon, Lyons, and Lima Street was included. If you recall, previously we talked about, we separated the utility and concrete work for the project from the asphalt work of the project because we wanted just to tie that community development block grant requirements, reporting requirements, and all the other things that we got to do with the project just to the asphalt portion of the project instead of expanding all those requirements to everything. So we, at the last Board of Public Works meeting, you saw the bid tabs for the utility and concrete work. And in front of you right now is the bid tabs for the asphalt portion of it. We had two contractors. You can kind of see on the last page of your packet, MCC and Northeast Asphalt were the two prime bid contractors. They were very close, which is nice to see. It's better than having one way off in left field and then you really question whether people understood the contracts, but they were very close bids. Northeast Asphalt is the low bidder in this. We anticipate at this point in time that the base of all three streets are very minimal, that we are going to have to do some major base reconstruction. So that's why you see the supplemental bid for including work for adding in new base, but we'll find out more once we actually open up the streets. But we're assuming worst case scenario that there is very little to no base underneath those streets. So I guess at this point in time, I'm going to ask the Board of Public Works to recommend to council for awarding the contract for asphalt replacement to Northeast Asphalt. Any questions?
Okay, we'll call for motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
By Cass, second by Herder. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried.
Need to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. I believe that's all we have.
Yep.
Call for motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Second.
Motion by Richie, second by Herder. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried.